What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and today we're going to be talking about what is potentially coming for Age of Mythology Retold, as the devs have just put out a public update preview. So this is something that I think we haven't really had much of recently. That there was one once upon a time, a few months ago, but haven't really seen a whole lot of it. For those of you wanting to give this a try, you want to just go into your Steam library, right-click on the game title, properties, and then go to the beta tab, and then you can just click going to the public update beta. Very, very simple. Anyone can do it, and all the good stuff. So effectively what this is, it's not a confirmation of what's going to be coming into the game. It's just we want to try this stuff out, get some feedback, and go from there. So it might all make it through. None of it might make it through. Some of it might make it through. You never know. But let's check it out and see what's coming. First thing that's hitting my eyes here, AI personalities. It's actually really, really cool for those of you wanting to try Age Mythology out against the AI and have a little bit of a different experience. Effectively, without going through this all too much, there's 7 new personalities to choose from, and they all do some very, very interesting things. You've got Conqueror, you've got Overwhelmer. I really like this one personally. This one is a build a huge army and go on attack. This is going to be I think this will be very difficult to defend against. And, you know, instead of that kind of natural experience against what the AI was, which was just like wave after wave, this is going to it's a big attack, and big attacks is generally kind of like what the meta almost is. So enjoy playing against that one. A nice one here, supporter for team games, passive here. I'm not exactly sure what this is going to feel like, but you can use this for yourself and have a little bit more control over when your ally attacks. So you can say attack now with the taunt 15 and attack with them, and that can be kind of interesting. And you got the Economist here, and an interesting one here with Mythical, with a huge amount of myth units coming out, building the Titan quicker and wonders and all the other good stuff. And then finally Humanoid, for those of you who hate myth units, hate god powers, but want to play Age Mythology. This is for you. So they're not going to build any of those things, which is kind of exciting. And then you can also do some random AI stuff. Let me know what you guys think about this sort of content getting introduced for the single player stuff. I'm actually quite interested in it. What I really want, and I know it's probably never going to happen, but I want one of those really, really difficult AIs. Not one that is getting boosted by handicap, but like, you know, kind of like the, I can't remember what it's called, Alpha Star or something for StarCraft 2 when that came out. That was so cool to me. I'd love something like that to come for Age of Mythology. I know it's probably expensive and stuff, but you know, that would be fun for me personally. Nonetheless, coming down, we're going to be seeing some changes to Fall of the Trident campaign. Is there anything interesting here? Yeah, I'm not sure. I do recommend this. This is one of my favorite campaigns of all time in every single RTS game that I've ever played. I don't think there's been one that I've enjoyed more than this. So if you haven't tried it out, definitely go in and jump in and give it a go. All right. So mostly what we're looking for here is, well, actually, what's this? Anything that's going to be changing what gameplay looks like. Hopefully all the audio issues are getting fixed in Edge case where audio would not mute, balanced audio levels for all selection, etc., etc. I haven't been having any issues with this personally, but hopefully things get better for everyone that is. Some UI stuff changing. You're probably going to have to jump into the public update beta to really understand what all this means, so I'm not going to go through it. If we jump down to, we've got some controller fixes. Hopefully that controller is feeling really good to play with. And we got gameplay fixes. So this is where things start getting interesting. Okay. So dynamic progressive damage and infection are no longer applied or handled while the ceasefire god power is active. The big one that was kind of stupid to some degree with this was Fey Beasts. You would click ceasefire naturally when Fey Beast came down, and then Fey Beast would just run through all of your army and kill it. And you'd be like, well, what was the point in ceasefire? I just buffed my opponent's god. And it was a bit of a silly knowledge gap. Like, obviously, if you knew that ceasefire did nothing and was actually negative against Fey Beast, you wouldn't click it. But if you didn't, it would just feel awful. So I actually like that this is going to be stopping that sort of damage from going through. It'll be interesting to see how that affects other god powers as well. I'm not sure what it would affect. Not sure. Like, I guess like things like Serpent Spear and I guess Shafts of Plague. All right, units can no longer be permanently invisible when walking through Shenanigans Blessed Farms. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I guess if the unit is moving on the farm, they can be seen, which I guess is fine, but I'm not sure how that's going to work in practice because, yeah, I kind of liked how the Shenanigans farm was working, but that'll be interesting to see how that works. Improvements being made to the AI. Okay, AIs are going to be able to attack, yada, yada, yada. Let's keep going. For hybrid villages now correctly, try to start gathering the closest relevant resource after building a drop point. Okay, so this is something that I think a lot of players do get frustrated with, where mentally you put down, say, a storehouse for Greek, and your villagers go to the gold mine. You want them to go to the gold mine, but there's a random straggler tree next to your storehouse, and then it will automatically go to the straggler tree. So I don't think this really fixes anything because that's always going to happen. So you do want to click clicking shift after you build your storehouse if there's any sort of confusion. If you think there's going to be any confusion, it would just be a good thing to get used to doing that. But nonetheless, especially for gods like China who have got 3 different things going on there, shift click is your friend. But yeah, it's cool that they're trying to make this a little bit less frustrating. Fixed a bug that prevented animals protect predators from auto-attacking villages. Okay, trolls and Drago restarted a specific one. Okay. Taunts, yada, yada, yada. Anything else that's interesting here? No. Fix the villagers not dropping off resources when shift clicking after building a drop site or town center. Yes, this is really, really good because this is one of those things which in tandem with the above that was changed was really frustrating because I would shift click and then you'd lose all your resources, which you don't want to do. Like if I build, there's ways to go around it. Like so for example, with Egyptian, I always chop down wood to get my pickaxe, right? And then I build a granary. And if I would want to shift click onto say a rhino to attack that immediately because it wouldn't automatically attack or something. I don't know. But anyways, if I did that, then sometimes the wood would not go into the granary and it would be really frustrating. So you'd have to work out other ways to kind of make sure that was happening. So it's good that that's going to get fixed. And all this other good stuff here. Villagers will now evaluate whether it is possible to access resources to prevent situations where they would be assigned to a resource that was impossible to access. I love that. I want to macro. I want to like control my economy. I want to have opportunities to micro villages to give them maximum effect. But I also want my villagers to just behave like normally. Like I don't want them to do anything stupid that I don't think that they should. Like they just shouldn't be doing. Do you know what I mean? They should just be good. Just like make it happen. You know. All right. Now, this is where things get interesting. This is going to be some balance changes. Now, again, not all of these are probably going to go through. These are all just sort of suggestions or that maybe they'll all go through. I don't know. But let's talk about what they mean and potentially what might change. So first thing we're seeing here is the berry gather rate reduced from 0.8 to 0.7 food per second. Increased food contained inside animals by 25% rounded to a nearby rounded number. Increased food. Wow. So, okay. I'm going to go through all of this and I'm going to explain what I think. Okay. Herdable fattening rate reduced from 0.25 to 0.2. Hunting equipment is now available 1 age sooner for all civilizations. So effectively, I think the devs are trying to get players out on the map faster. So animals having more food inside of them, that means we're going to be able to stay in our main base for just a little bit longer. I think there's some incredibly big buffs to certain civilizations, certain strategies. Like I can already think of one with, say, for example, Odin using Great Hunt and never having to leave his main base if he has enough hunt there and he can micro it correctly. There's some really, really interesting ideas there. But yeah, we're not going to have to leave our base. Probably not going to want to go into berries earlier. Slight nerf to Ra in terms of how he was taking advantage of those berries. And yeah, herdables gathering, fattening slower isn't that big of a deal in my opinion. Means you have to go into farms a little bit earlier. And finally, hunting equipment in the in the classical age here. Personally, I don't think I like this. This is going to be just one of those upgrades players grab if their opponent is going for raiding playstyle. And so you're like herding raiding playstyle. And I don't particularly like that. I think that if a villager... I like that I can kill villagers. I don't like that you get these villagers to be like superhuman earlier on, but we'll see if this one stays. I understand why it's here. It's because the idea is that they're trying to push you out onto the map a little bit earlier. But conversely, I'm on the fence 100% about that one. I like the berries getting reduced. I don't think you should be gathering berries until the very end. It should basically, your thought process should be hunt, chickens, berries, herdable, farms. But at the moment, you don't have to think about it. It's just, I can't really go out. I'll just go into berries. It's fine. So yeah, this is interesting. We'll see how it goes. The developers have some ideas here. You can read those. All right, let's keep going. Masons no longer reduces building and talents and a hack and crush armor. Building hit points increase from 15% to 20%. This is vulnerability, not armor. No longer reduces building and talents and a hack and crush vulnerability. That's what that means, not armor. So it's just a straight building HP increase. I think this is mostly to counteract divine damage from god powers. That's my guess. All right, no longer reduces building crush armor and hit points going up. Masons and architects have been slightly reworked by making them easy to understand and no longer making buildings better specifically against siege, but better against the hold. This should result roughly in non-siege units such as human shields being worse against buildings in the mid-late game while leaving siege roughly similar. Okay, I think this is... The more big effect here is that any sort of divine damage, god powers are going to be doing less damage. I think that's the bigger effect. I don't think this really changes that much with the human units because it's still an increase in hit points where that's effectively what increasing hack armor is. So we'll see. Crush armor of all siege weapons increased from 65% to 70%. Siege versus siege is annoying. Nobody likes siege versus siege. I like the interaction of being able to dodge siege. I had some fun with it once upon a time. But yeah, it's not a fun thing. So I don't know if this is just going to keep going. Crush armor on siege weapons is just going to keep going up until it's not ever going to be a thing where siege weapons don't kill siege weapons at all. But anyways, per scene. Okay, here we go. This is interesting here. This is changing water even more. I'm waiting for water to get some serious work. It really needs some balancing. It's not... There's issues with, in my opinion, there's issues with pathfinding on the water, and in general, it just feels so off. Resource gather rate, cost of boats for different civs all being kind of similar, while the resource gather rates are different, really throws a wrench in the whole thing. There's so much to be done. Technologies, we'll see if anything's happening. Like the technologies in the heroic age, either are completely useless or absolutely busted. There's no in between. So yeah, we'll see. But fishing ships getting a reduced here and the base going up slightly. I think my opinion on this is I'd rather see Sultan for it in the Mythic Age per scene in the Classical Age and just have nothing in the Heroic Age at the moment and see what that does. But I like the direction regardless. Okay, so Chinese spawn with one less Quailfu. I don't know anything about Deathmatch. If Deathmatch players are saying China's too strong, nerf them. Fantastic. Happy days. Tusk of Danking. Spawn pigs now are spawned at any town center and no longer follow the rally point. Wow. Okay, I mean, that's just a quality of life there. I like that. All right. Next one. Greek Pantheon. Poseidon. Cavalry, myth unit, and caravan speed reduced from 0.4 to 0.3. So Hippias go to 5.8 speed. Centaur are going to go slower as well. if this is the only change on on Poseidon, I don't think this is going to do anything. So we're going to have to take this as a bit more of a holistic thing. I don't think this was necessarily a problem. I like that Poseidon was an outplay civ, but I think this is, we'll see. Okay, Hippias Pierce armor increased. Okay, so Hippias are going to be better against archers, effectively. That's what that means. They get a little bit more HP against them. Love. Okay, Skylar Pierce armor reduced from 70% to 65%. I don't actually think the Skylar was overperforming anymore. I think that was getting dealt with nicely by Heroic Fleet, but we'll keep going on. Divine Blood reduced. Wow, okay. And Spirited Charge reduced. Wow, okay. Divine Blood was actually really good. I'm surprised. I mean, goes down by 5 favors. It's not the biggest of changes. I think this isn't that big. This one is nice. An extra 5 favor off is like 50 resources off in the classical age. It's a big deal. So yeah, that's gonna be nice. I think we'll be rushing this out a bit more. Anyways, bronze armor vulnerability effect reduced from 40% to 35%. Bronze is standing firm. It's all above other. Okay. Maybe we're gonna see less of bronze and more of like Aphrodite, more of Apollo. I still think this is gonna be strong though. Okay. Greek, I think overall Poseidon should be fine. I don't think Poseidon is going to be feeling that much of this nerf. This is a big boost. This is a nerf. This is a nerf. This is a buff. This is a nerf. This is a nerf here as well. The late game caravan movement speed I didn't really see. That's actually a pretty significant nerf to the late game of Poseidon, of which was very, very powerful. So all in all, I think Poseidon's going to be still good. Don't worry about it. All right, Ra. Monument area effect no longer affects other monuments. Sick. That's huge. That's a huge nerf for Ra. And one of the big reasons why Ra is so successful with favor strategies. So that's big. Priest and monument area of effect reduced from 70% to 60%. That's another big nerf to Ra indeed. I wouldn't be surprised here if players are going to delay going onto their monument with the Pharaoh now. I think that there was a time where we had 60% on this early stages of Retold, and I was ignoring the monument area of effect, probably stupidly, but I was ignoring it in favor of getting that big boost from my Pharaoh. And I'm even ignoring it a little bit now, favoring things like using it when I'm affecting my buildings to get increased train time while also affecting economy. So I think that's going to be even more of the better play now. Adjusted animals are set hunt values to match the huntable animal changes. Animals are set have minus 20. Okay, so the animals are set just stay the same. I think I'm not exactly sure what this means. I don't think this is a nerf or a buff. This is just keeping everything the same. All right, so Spearmen. Spearmen have been performing really well on this patch. They've got a massive buff. Bonus damage multiplier versus cavalry reduced. So these are just going to be less good against Cav, even though that's what they're supposed to be good against. Cost increase from 50 food to 20 gold to 50 food, 25 gold. So getting more expensive, and train time going up a little bit. I still think these are going to be really strong. I think that's a good thing. I think the Spearmen should be good, but I would rather it be mostly good against the Cav. So I'm not sure where the direction this is going is. I think I probably would have preferred it to stay at 1.75 or even go up to 2 and have a slight reduction in like damage, but we'll see how it goes. I like the idea. I think that they were having a lot of success spamming these out against, say, Norse and having some success there, which are having too much success there. So this should help out. And also the gold increase, that'll be felt for Ra and Isis. Probably not so much for Set because he's still got the 10% off and 10% off. That's kind of still a tiny bit of a gold increase for him. But anyways, War Elephant gets a bit of a pierce increase. That's nice. I like this. I was trying to use the War Elephant to kill off archers. I was having some success with this. The problem is not necessarily the archer, but divine damage on the archer, specifically Shafts of Plague, where you would build War Elephants against, say, Peltast, and the Peltast would have a ton of effect against these War Elephants, where you just don't think they should. It wasn't like, it's not game breaking or anything. The War Elephant's still fine against the Peltast, but it's just like the Peltast is just doing too well. I don't know if I think this is just going to be making them better against things like Chariot Archer, non-divine damage, Greek, and Arcus and things like that. So interesting, but I don't really know if this is the direction to make the War Elephant relevant where it needs to be, which is definitely against that late game Greek Archer ball. But anyways, Priest adjusts as followed. Range increased from +5 to +7. Thank you. Range reduced from +5 to +4. Okay, I love this. I love this so much. It's so frustrating playing against certain myth units, Centaur, even Cyclops to some degree. I don't know about the Cyclops. Really, realistically, we can just skip the classical age and go straight to the heroic age as Egyptians anyways against that strat. But yeah, +5 to +7 upon reaching the classical age. That's going to help out a ton. That's going to make those priests much better. I love that. Okay, minions, Nephthys, damage increased by 8 to 9. Okay. I'm still worried. I do think that Ancestors is a weak god power to some degree. I don't think it's weak in the sense that like you can't use it. It's like it's not good. I think it's weak in the sense that by itself, it doesn't do a whole lot. If you add in an army and a timing, or you add in Eclipse, then all of a sudden this god power gets really, really good. So you have to use it very specifically, which does sort of make it a little bit meh in a lot of situations. So it getting a bit stronger, great. I don't think it's going to change its use. It's still going to be a very specific god power. I'm scared about Ancestors Eclipse a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, Wadjet cost increased. Really? I wasn't actually thinking the Wadjet was necessarily like causing too many problems. I thought it was more the Sphinx, which has been changed, but I don't see a problem with it, but it's not a huge nerf. This is a much bigger nerf here, 2 favor increase on the Sphinx, especially with the Ra changes as well. But yeah, okay. Monument to the Gods costs 700 to 600, 600. I love that. This was really expensive. It's still expensive, but I want to be building it, definitely. Okay, Clairvoyance, research time reduced from 50 to 40. Gold cost goes down. Oh, sorry, favor. Gold cost and favor cost going down. This is a tech I was always grabbing. I don't hate that it's getting a nerf, but it seems odd because it's such an important tech and one that you would always grab. But now I'm going to grab it even more. Happy days. Spirit of Mart, research time reduced from 40 to 30 seconds. Again, okay, Nephthys is getting some boost. This is nice. Okay, everything in Nephthys needs a nice boost. Now also increases Priest and Fairy hit points by 10%. Love this a lot. I think this is great. I do worry a little bit that this is going to make, if you get Spirit of Mart, Nebty, Priest, Siege pushes, that might come back a little bit. We were seeing that early on. I'm not exactly sure if 10% HP on the Priests is enough to make it a viable strategy, but we'll see. It's an interesting idea to try. But yeah, nonetheless, Crimson Linen also getting a boost. This tech had one use and it was really good. I'm going to tell you guys because I think you should know, but Eclipsed Avengers with Crimson Linen. This was strong. This was really, really strong. So it's just getting better. I don't know about anything else because if you go, you could potentially go Crimson Linen with Sphinx, with Ra. I don't think it makes any sense on Anubites. I don't think it makes any sense on Scarabs because you can't lifesteal buildings, right? Or maybe you do. Maybe you are lifestealing from buildings. I don't know. If it's lifestealing from buildings, I think it's actually an interesting idea. But anyways, mostly just the Anubites. It doesn't work on mummies very well. It doesn't work on Phoenix very well. But yeah, for those Avengers, very, very good. All right, Solar Bark, cabinet damage required. Okay, someone is trying to make these relevant. The problem with this technology fundamentally is that it's not a group damage. It's all on one cabinet. So that one cabinet needs to deal 200 damage. That's or it was 500. Now it's 200. Still a lot of damage. Normally these boats are getting taken down very, very quickly, right? In a fight, you got like siege ships killing them, and they're trying to get damage done against like the hammer ships. Just doesn't quite work. At 200, I don't know off the top of my head how long that ship actually has to fight for, but it might be good. I think I'd rather see this tech just reworked rather than the 3 sea snakes spawning, just reworked into something that's just a little bit more consistent and something that I can like grab and rely on as a nice little boost for the Egyptians on the water going through Sobek. Okay. So rain gets nerfed here, cost increased, repeat cost increased. Wow. Okay. That's actually quite a big nerf. I guess it's strong. I guess. I don't know if I had a problem with the rain being strong. It was mostly the monument thing. But let's see. Okay. Eclipse also getting nerfed. Eclipse was too long. I don't think this changes anything. Really, it gives us an opportunity to run away, but the Eclipse is still going to be really good with help of the Sphinx, and potentially also for Avengers, like I was saying above. But all right, Citadel Center segment increased. I think this God power is just fundamentally. I think it's just fundamentally not well designed anymore. Like I thought. Yeah. Okay. So what's the problem with it? The problem is that if I can get myself 3 Citadel, I just win because I have myself 30 more population than my opponent. 30 more population is 10 more chariot archers. That's 30 more caravans that I can have than my opponent. So it's just like not very. I don't like it. In other words, I don't like that. That's how it works. On the other hand, I like that it's defensive. I like that it holds a position together well. It also gives me economic boost, which, I mean, I wasn't a fan of it when they changed it. Still not a fan of it now, but I can deal with that. What I can't deal with is the fact that getting those 3 Citadel centers and just winning. I don't like it. I really like to see the God power have a reduced population increase, potentially, or only be able to have 1 out at a time. If you cast it again, the old one dies, so you can move it around, and then you can just reduce the favor cost down to like 20 as an idea. You can have a Citadel Center on your main base, and then you could move it onto the second one and then only have 1. That could be another idea. I'm not saying to do this. I'm just throwing suggestions. If anybody likes them, you can run with them. If you don't like them, then don't. But yeah, this God power's got some issues. All right, next one we got the Norse Pantheon. Raiding cavalry pierce armor increase. This is in line with what they did with the Hippias. Same thing. Jarl I was actually starting to use the Jarl. I actually think that the Jarl is really, really good, but not against archers. It's an anti-counter infantry unit. That sounds crazy to say because it's a cavalry unit, but this is the ultimate in dealing with a pacifist, axeman, Kyra Ballister. That's what I was using this unit for. And I love this going up, but I think it was actually good. So yeah, this is going to be a unit that I'm definitely using against Egyptian, Greek, and also the. Actually, I'll probably use it against China as well. I think this is just going to be a really good unit now. I wouldn't be surprised to see Njord getting picked up like a lot more consistently as well, just for that extra boost on the Jarl. Okay, so Hursa are also going up in movement speed by 1, going for a little bit more damage versus myth units. I love this. I made this point a while ago that 1 Hursa was like almost losing to a Promethean. And I was like, okay, well, let's make the Hursa actually beat the Promethean. And I was like, we've got to give a little bit more bonus damage versus myth units. So I'm glad that's actually coming in. The move speed issue 1.1 isn't going to be a big deal, but this is actually helping out Hall of Thanes a bit, so you're probably going to be able to go get them a little bit quicker. I'm not sure what 5% of an increase on this is, like 2.3 or I don't know. 0.2. I don't know. It's going to be still pretty slow, I think. Okay, let's keep going. Goatee damage increased. Okay, so that's interesting. So this is now going to be, and an attack range increased as well. Wow. Okay, so the Goatee, I think this unit had a role as well as the Jarl of dealing with counter infantry. So I think this is going to be even better at that. Obviously going to do better against myth units as well. But yeah, the Goatee against counter infantry, that's going to be chef's kiss. I'm going to be building that unit, I think, even also with the new change from Freya. That's going to be interesting. Iron Hurry, movement speed increased. Yeah, I still don't think I'm building more than one of these ever. I'm pretty sure I want to have one out on the map, but I don't want it in the fight. I want it at the back of my army, just giving myself mini flaming weapons. I'm not sure what to do about this unit. I just think that's its design, and unless it comes up to like 4.2 speed is probably where I would be like, okay, let's pop it into my army. Maybe 4 speed, because that's where the throw and axemen are at. If it comes up to 4 speed, the same as what a throw and axeman is moving, then I'm moving it around with my army a little bit more and feeling comfortable building a whole bunch of them. Okay, Sons of Sleipnir now affects all cavalry. Okay, so it affects the Jarls. Nice. All right, Undermine, crush damage increased 7.5 to 10. Okay, bonus multiply versus socketed town centers reduced 2x to 0.75. Okay, yeah, this is just to block the town center going down in team games. Part of me feels like there needs to be like a specific balance for team games. Things like you can't use 2 god powers on the same building. Like if you use Undermine twice, sure you can do it, but the amount, but like there's like some sort of invulnerability or some sort of reduction in vulnerability to said god power. Like you can't just drop like 2 destructive god powers down onto one player, for example. There needs to be some sort of vulnerability in that, or reduction in vulnerability in that area. Yeah, well, there's this thing with I think it's the same case for all Age of Empires games where team games are just a separate entity and they need some sort of separate balance. And I feel like you can do it without breaking everything. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be like a completely foreign thing. It's just like, okay, we have this one concept. That concept affects team games. And everyone just learns that one concept and it works. But I like that it's changing, but I still want Undermine to be good in 1v1s. I hope it is still. I'm not sure what the case is with how things change. All right, Ghoul and Bursty. Damage from initial impact is from 20 to 10. Initial impact scaling per age 20 to 10. So it's getting weaker. Archaic age 50 to 40. It's going to last less. We'll see. I do think Ghoul and Bursty is the S+++ tier archaic age god power, because it was effectively a mythic age god power that you get in the archaic age, and when you combine it with Tempest, all of a sudden you misplace the enemy army. They can't run away because they're slowed. Ghoul and Bursty dominates, and you kill off an entire army with that combo. I think that's still going to be the same here, even with this reduction in damage, but we'll see. Okay, Atlantean. Kronos can now time shift farms. Oh. All right. If this goes through, we are moving villages into our opponent's base, and we are stealing their farms. I'm going to get Temporal Shift. I'm going to come in. I'm going to push the villagers away with a whole bunch of Contarius. I'm going to move my villager in. I'm going to have Valor so I can heal it back up when it gets to low HP. I'm going to steal the farm. I'm going to time shift it back home. Free farms for Atlantean. That's what we want. Especially against Ra players who aren't building any military units. All right. Contarius in Hero. Pierce armor increase from... Okay, so it's just the same as everything else. Trying to make those better against archers. I love that. Fire Siphons getting stronger. Fanatics getting stronger. I think Fanatics were good. But yeah, now they're just even better. Okay, Nereid, hit points increase. Special attack. Versus Myth. Okay. All right. Yeah, this unit I was actually like... Even if I microed it well, I still wasn't getting my... value. I think you needed 2 to get the value. So you go in, you snipe a myth unit, you run away with 2. You couldn't go in with 1, get the special attack, run away, and then come back later. It just wasn't working on any of the maps in the current map pool. So interesting. We'll see how it's going to go. And Dryad goes back down in time. It's just fine. I actually thought Thea was okay in the last patch. People are saying it's like incredibly weak, unplayable now. Don't believe mainstream media. The Thea was doing okay, so this is fine for me. I don't think there's an issue. You got 2 trees. The trees are going to come out pretty quickly, regardless, because they're just training out of 2 of them. Everyone was building them out of 1 before, basically. So yeah, not a problem, but it's going to be nice for them and build. Okay, Mirror Tower's going up even more. All right, now the big one is the Chinese Pantheon. Damage ups from 24 down to 22. Crush going up. Okay, human soldiers, Wuzu Javelineer getting faster. Terracotta Riders have a reduced damage in their cage. White Horse Cavalry piercing increased in line with everything else. Tiger Cavalry gets reduced. These things were overperforming a ton. That's a pretty small nerf considering how overperforming they were, but we will see. Hopefully it's enough. Okay, let's keep going. Sage heal rate increased. No one was using this as a healer. I don't think they will. Yeah, okay. This is just the never mind. Hero Qual for damage reduced as well. Okay. Talwu dash longer effects farms, animals, and heroes. This is just the funnest unit in the game. I think I think this is the best design unit from the Chinese pack. It's so much fun. Grab the technology and just run around and just go 10-pin bowling. But yeah, not affecting farms is fine. I think players will just run through the enemy base and just kill all the farms with the dash, proving too strong. The Cheong Chi here gets some reduction in stats. Ability cooldown reduced from 5 to 3. That's the opposite of what I wanted. So the ability is landing and taking off. This is the opposite, the absolute opposite of what I wanted. This unit should have a 10-second ability cooldown at the very least. I don't understand this at all. Like you compare it to the Anubite, which has a jump ability very similar to what the Cheong-Chi does, which is runs in, starts getting damage, opponent reacts, you use the ability to run away, right? If you use the ability to come in and my opponent is already there to defend, they should get some damage done on you, right? I hate this. This should be 5 to 10 seconds. I don't even care about the damage. I don't care about the line of sight. I don't care about the movement speed. That ability is the one that frustrates me the most. Okay. Doc, favored land radius reduced from 20 to 12. Absolutely insane amount of favored land. I don't understand why it was like that, but changing that is fantastic. It's still pretty big at 12. I don't know what if you make it half but add a little bit, it's probably similar to the military buildings or something like that, right? What I hope happens with this is you have to make a lot of effort to connect your main base to the dock. Like you have to put a house or 2. That would be the ideal situation. Yeah. Okay, herbal medicine, sage, healing rate increased again. They really want this thing to be healing. Okay, drought ships, fishing ship, dominant, 50 crush, 50 divine. Okay, freeze armor. I love this tech as a concept. Like, I love the idea of being able to like get a mad fishing ship explosion and just killing a bunch of dudes on land. I don't like this as a thing that is used on the water for against like Navy. That's my opinion on it. I don't know if that's like a balanced. It's more of like a design thing. So I don't know how you would make that ever work like that, but I think this is still really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised to see people actually using this on Mediterranean quite consistently for some easy wins. All right, Maelstrom, it no longer slows enemies. Yeah, this thing was insane, absolutely insane. I think this is the type of like heroic age technology for water that I think should be a thing. Like less about like damage dealt and more of like just getting that, feeling that power that comes with it. I don't mind that it's getting nerfed, but I'd like to see other heroic age technology, water technology just coming up in line with Maelstrom. All right, Earth Wall, no longer affected by wall upgrades. Inherent scaling and wall upgrades combined caused the Earth Wall to scale a bit too well. Yeah, kinda. Effectively, you'd have to just use siege past a certain point to kill these. I would use scarabs. I would use siege towers. I would use portable rams to break through these. You can't just use human units. Okay, and I think... Okay, we've got a little bit more added. The following changes have been... Air, Mount Olympus, Sea of Worms. Remove Peach Blossoms, Bamboo Grove, Blue Lagoon, and Yellow River. Okay, so Air is the map with the gigantic rock in the middle. This one is like, it's a difficult map to play, I think. It's an interesting one, very different from everything else. Kind of similar, actually, to Oasis One Hole. But having that in the map pool. Okay, Mount Olympus. I like this map. This map was fun for me. People have complained about it for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why they complain about it. So maybe if you can voice exactly why you don't like it, that could get edited so that it could get fixed for usage. But it was a fun map for me. And Sea of Worms is going to be an interesting water map instead of Peach Blossom Land. Okay, Hunt Net will now correctly adhere to constraints on the Shallow's random map. Minor adjustments to many maps. Slightly reduce the number of starting chickens and berries. On average, it changes about one berry. Okay, so just less food in general in the main base. That was something that a vocal minority was complaining about quite a bit. If you don't like this change, make sure you're heard on that, because like slightly reducing hunt in the main base will push you out on the map earlier, meaning you have to interact and defend more positions on the map earlier on. And that's it. So this isn't all stuff coming in. I'll say it once more. If you don't like any of this stuff, make sure you're heard on it. Make sure you make posts, Reddit, Discord, Age of Empires forums, all that good stuff. If you think I'm stupid about whatever opinions I've said now, also put that in the comment section below and we can have a fiery debate about it. Just kidding. I'm never debating about balance ever again in my life. Say my opinion, and if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to seeing what comes through from this patch when it is released, whenever it's released. Thank you for the shenanigans from the devs, and we will see you in the next one.